Hello, Glenpool. Welcome to our December edition of Conversations with the City. Hey, today we've got a special internal guest. We've been talking to different groups and different individuals that represent organizations here across the city. But today we wanted to talk with our mayor. And so we've got just a few moments to talk with Mayor Joyce Calvert here at the city. Give a little bit of insight into why she ran and what she hopes to see in the future, and then to talk about a special project and some monies that we received as part of the state's ARPA funding. So we're going to get into a little bit of all of that today, but we're glad you joined us for Conversations with the City. So welcome, Mayor. We are glad you are here.
Thank you for having me, David.
A little bit different today. Normally we get a chance to talk to people from outside the city and all the things that are happening and what their organization's doing and how it benefits us. But today we wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about some of the ARPA funds we've got. And so we're going to get into that. But first, I want to just give everybody a chance that may not know you to get to know you through this process.
David.
So tell us a little bit about your involvement with the city. You've been here and been involved in different capacities for several years now. So give us a little bit of history about you and why you got here in the city.
Well, I came to your planning commission, your board of adjustment. I was served there for 10 years before I became a counselor. And it went right along with my regular career of being a real estate broker. Mm-hmm. So it was just adding to something that I already knew as far as planning and land development, that type of thing. So I enjoyed that very much and just did planning and board of adjustment for 10 years. And then I think we had family and friends that wanted me to run for city council. So I filed for my campaign in 2019 and was fortunate enough to secure a position on the city council, and that's kind of where I'm at today.
Right. So when you decided to run in 2019, what were the things that you wanted to accomplish? Why did you decide to run?
Well, I think that I wanted to see growth, but controlled growth, and see some other things for our city, not just infrastructure, which is very important to our city, but also I wanted to see some quality of life items for our citizens. So I think all that goes hand in hand. Right.
So talking about some quality of life for some of the things that you'd hope to accomplish, what do you want to see? You've been in almost 4 years now on the council. We've done a lot of good things, and we're going to talk about one of those here in just a moment. But what do you hope to see for the future of Glenpool?
For the future, like I said, I'd like to see a quality of life project. If the other counselors can see fit to do that also. I would like to maybe have a all-inclusive sports complex 5 to 10 years down the road. I'm sure we'd have to use some type of funding for that, like a general obligation bond or whatever, but I would like for it to be a state-of-the-art. I'd like to see us have all types of sports and have the room for baseball and football and whatever, and walking trails and lighting, and I want a really nice all-inclusive sports complex where it can be young families, their children, but also someplace that grandparents would like to come and maybe do the walking trails, different things, but be for families, all families. I think that would be exciting for our city to have something like that.
Absolutely. It's a piece that we've talked about off and on. You and I have had a number of conversations about this as well. And I think it is a piece that's needed in this community.
I agree, David.
I know we've had some conversations, and we'll be introducing some things and talking with other council members here coming up in the coming months, but that's one of the goals from a staff level as well, is to talk about and begin to build a little bit longer term planning for the city. We've had some of that, but it's never been organized in a way that we do strategic planning, and so I think that's one of my goals, is to bring that to the council, and we start that process. I know we've had those conversations.
Yes, we have.
And so this is going to be a big deal. I'm excited about the future, and I think some of the other council members are on board with this as well. Maybe all. We won't know until we can actually get that and talk about that publicly.
But it's exciting to talk about.
It is. Yes, I think it's a great piece for us. So let's talk a little bit about this ARPA monies that we had, because I think this is this funding from the state is going to be key for us developing some of this other stuff that we've just talked about, the sports complex and our other future growth. So as many people probably know, not only did when the federal government put monies in place for the American Recovery Plan Act, or ARPA funding, and they sent some directly to municipalities across the state, especially larger cities. They also sent a bunch of money to the state. The state got $1.9 billion of ARPA funds that they decided to divide up and use across the state. As part of that, you encouraged us, and we were working towards an application process to get some of this money. So let's talk about those ARPA funds and some of the monies we've got. As we got into this process, why did you feel like these were important to the city, these ARPA funds?
I really felt like it was extremely important. I felt like it was a no-brainer that we had to have our share of the ARPA funds. We needed a new, and we still need a new mechanical wastewater system. And I began, because we began to experience things with our sewer system, I began to not be able to sleep nights, and I more or less felt like a big responsibility was on my shoulders. So I decided I was going to lobby for these ARPA funds, and I did just that, David. I did it night and day, and any time that I was away from my regular job, I was working on that. So I was very excited when they told me that they called from the Capitol and said, Mayor, you may want to get on this live web with us right now, because we're live and you're going to get awarded $40-some million. Well, I was sitting there watching it, and I watched it for 5 minutes, and I thought, really, I should call David and Susan and tell them to get on the link also. Right. But we needed these funds, and we needed them desperately. Like I said, I felt like it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us. And now we've got a good portion of that handled so we can move forward. And infrastructure is just as important as any other new growth to our city. And we needed to have these funds in order to help us get there.
Absolutely.
We're supposed to be one of the fastest growing cities in Oklahoma, and I just felt the real need for this.
Yeah. Let me give a little bit of background for those that may not know exactly what we're getting into. The city is under what's called a consent decree. We have one of the last lagoon systems in Tulsa County, and probably one of the only lagoon systems for a city of our size in the state.
I think you're right.
And so because of that, with our projected growth, we have got to upgrade that system. And we knew that going into it. We've been working on this off and on for the last several years. How do we begin to get to that point? Well, the studies that we've got and the engineering pieces that we've got showed we needed approximately $44 million to build a new, what they call a mechanical plant. So moving away from lagoon into a mechanical plant. And so at our conversations with the other council members in session, we said, let's go after these ARPA funds.
Right.
And so they did. And as you said, you did a ton of work on this. I mean, the city staff did some work. We put processes together, but you were out there dealing with the state elected officials on a daily basis in many cases.
Yes,
across the board, we made several trips to Oklahoma City.
Yes.
And then you were making trips to their offices and other places across the state.
Calling on each and every one of them,
That's
everyone
right.
that I could. It was a very exciting time I asked they understood our plea, they understood our dilemma, and they listened, and they awarded us. So I was very, very happy.
How many $million?
$44 million.
$44 million.
I think we received the largest municipal award in the state of Oklahoma.
I believe that's correct. There were a couple of other awards larger than us, but not
municipal. Right, that's correct.
And so a very exciting process. Congratulations on that.
Well, thank you.
I know the state House of Representatives thought so much of the work that you did that they also issued a citation of recognition.
Yes, they did.
For this.
Yes, they did.
So, very well deserving process, the amount of work that you put in to gather these funds for the city and for Glenpool. And
I was very surprised, though, David. I felt like I should be giving a citation to the House and to our Senate. And they gave me that citation, just brought me to tears. But they've really come to bat for Glenpool,
Yeah.
and we need to be very grateful for that and very thankful for that. In fact, I will be spending a lot of my holiday time writing thank yous to the House and to the Senate.
And there are, I mean, while it took a vote of the House and the Senate to get this done,
That's
there
correct.
were a few key people that we relied on, especially in the
Yes.
beginning, to get this going.
Yes.
And so I know we can't name everybody, and we won't, but there were a couple of local people especially that helped us with this.
Well, there was Lonnie Sims was very, very helpful,
Yeah.
and also State Representative Hall, State Representative Jeff Boatman, several of the senators, just people that I've become good friends with. I was able to reach out to through my networking processes, and they just really came to bat for us.
Yeah.
And I cannot say enough good things or tell them how extremely thankful we are, how grateful we are that they came to bat for the city of Glenpool.
Absolutely. And they were not only there at the end of the day when you were getting calls from the chair of the committee saying, hey, you need to watch this
Yes,
process, but
yes.
but I was getting texts and you were getting texts from Representative Lonnie Sims and others
Yes,
saying, hey,
yes.
this is happening, it's real, all your work is finally happening. So we do appreciate them as well in this process.
Oh,
and
we
the work
certainly do.
that they did to make this happen. But because of this $44 million, knowing that, and the estimate, as we said, was $44 million from the engineers. That's going to change a little bit because of inflationary monies and stuff
Right.
that's happening. So it may not cover the entirety, but it's going to get really,
That's it.
really close. What does that now mean for Glenpool, in your opinion, for the future of our city?
Well, for the future of our city, hopefully now we can spend dollars in other areas where we would have had to spend it just solely on this or taxed our people or a general obligation bond. We can move forward with other items now because this was extreme. This was monumental. This was a big expense looming over us, and now like I said, we've been awarded ARPA funds, and that will help us towards our goal.
Absolutely. Those quality of life issues that you talked about
Yes.
were a goal of yours and a goal of the other council members that I've had conversations with. We don't have to mortgage those now to pay for a sewer plant.
Isn't that wonderful?
We now have those funds thanks to these ARPA funds, the work that you've done, the work that our state reps and our state senators have done. In my opinion, that has opened the door now to start doing some of these other projects.
I
Instead
agree.
of having to wait for a plant to go and then see how much debt we've got to deal with.
I agree.
So
So I'm excited about that.
I'm absolutely excited about it. I think this is going to be a great thing in the long term for Glenpool and get us where we need to be to begin to continue in many ways to create opportunities for our residents and our businesses to grow and to thrive and to bring more people into this community.
I think so, David, and I think that's exactly what Glenpool is all about, creating opportunity.
Absolutely. So as we close down here, one of the things that that we ask so far everybody that's been in, that I want to ask you, what is your favorite thing about Glenpool?
Oh my gosh, my favorite thing about Glenpool, that's going to be tough because my family's here, friends are here, our home's here. Just about everything about Glenpool, every place I go is, it's my life, it's my home. And we can dine here, we can play here, we can do everything that every other city can do and know the people that we live here with, the
Right.
people that we dine with and the people that we like to visit with and talk with. It's a community that's on the grow, but it still has a small town atmosphere. And it's just my heart. It's where I live, and it's where I want to be. I mean, if at this point in my life, I guess I could choose to be somewhere else. This is where I choose. So it's our home. I love it. I love everything about it. There's not anything that I don't love. We'll have issues as we go along the way. Issues we'll have to work on, whether that's traffic, transportation, infrastructure. But if we all work together, if we come together and we discuss and we talk and the counselor sees things that need to be done, we can move forward. We can handle almost anything. If we can handle $44 million sewer, we can handle almost anything.
That's right.
And
we have an amazing council right now.
we do. We
got a
have
really
some of
good
the
council,
best. Yes, we do.
To get things done and get this city continued moving forward down the path.
Yes, we do.
And so, again, congratulations, Mayor, on getting
Thank you.
this award. It is It's going to be huge for this city, and I appreciate.
Thank you,
on behalf
sir.
of the staff, I appreciate all the work you did to make this possible, so that we
Well,
can
I
move forward
thank
on
you.
that.
I appreciate everything that everyone's done. Thank you so much.
Great conversation today with the mayor. I appreciate all the work she has done. Glenpool, we will see you next month for Conversations with the City.